Oh shit! What's up, guys? Early morning. early morning. Alright. So, the other day, sitting at work, and on Wednesdays and stuff like that, so usually a slower day where I'm just kind of getting caught up on stuff. So, not really up moving around a whole lot unless I'm absolutely needed to. So when I'm sitting at my desk, I just, pop it in your earbud and just listen to some tunes while I'm doing some work. If I get called away, easy, whoop, pop it out, go do my thing. Not a big deal. However, I just got the sudden urge to listen to a band I used to listen to way back in high school. And I really don't even know a lot of people that know of them. And even when you find their uploaded album on YouTube, it's like nobody knows about it. Nobody has seen it, or if they look at the comments, some people are like, "Oh, I remember these guys," or it's like, "I've never heard these guys before. They're pretty awesome." It's one of those weird obscure bands that had like 2 albums come out and they just kind of fell off the face of the earth. So it's like, oh, okay, whatever. I found their first album at a Mr. Paperback way back when in high school in Belfast, Maine. Unfortunately, Mr. Paperback's no longer a thing, apparently. I've been back home since like 2006, so I don't know. But yeah, apparently they went under a long time ago. Unfortunately, it sucks because they had an awesome music store. That was like a little subsection inside the bookstore. And you can also go in there, you can order albums that they didn't have or anything like that. They also had a clearance section, which would have all these awesome, just weird, rare CDs or things that people ordered, paid for, never came to pick up. And they're like, well, it's been past like 4 months and they still haven't come pick it up yet. So, sorry, guy. We called you. We've, sent you notices in the mail, invoices saying, hey, your product's ready, and you still haven't come pick it up. So, SOL, my bad. It wasn't like a simple, like, oh, you haven't come pick it up yet? Okay, fuck you, I'm going to sell it. No, they actually gave them time to pick it up. And if they didn't after so long, even if you paid full price for it, they would just throw it up on the shelf for like $5 just to get it out of there because it was clogging up inventory and stuff. I think that may have been the situation with this one because this is the only copy of the CD they had in the whole entire store. And it was this weird red cover, had like this weird like planetoid thing, like a light kind of like shimmer, like it's supposed to be like an eye in a face or something like that. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool looking. Just looked at the back of it. It's from Metal Blade Records. I was like, all right, caught my eye there. Metal Blade has some good albums and good bands. And took a little closer look at it. It was a band named Cydonia, Cydonia, N-I-A, Cydonia. And I was like, okay, it's Metal Blade, so it's got to be metal of some sort. Let's check it out. It didn't have a sticker on there. I asked how much it was. The guy, scanned it. It's like, yeah, it's like $3.99. I was like, fuck, okay, cool. If it's a great CD, then awesome. Sweet find. If it's a dud, I'm out like $4. Whatever. Who cares? And I walk out of there. I had my Walkman in my backpack. I was like, okay, let's pop this bitch in and see what it sounds like. And I opened it up. The first track had like this weird, like 40-second long intro thing. It was kind of weird. It was like, it had like this almost sci-fi vibe to it. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then, as it pops in, I got the first track loaded up here. Then it goes into this. awesome power metal. I was like, all right, I like this. This is cool. Stayed in my CD player for like a month straight. I became obsessed with this fucking album. It was only like 9 tracks, and each of them were just as fucking much of an earworm as the next. Some of them were a little heavier in tone, some of them slower, some of them faster. But I mean, for an opening track, that hits you fucking hard, and it's like it just does not stop. And then years later, I thought that was like a one and done CD, one time, boom, there's your shot, you failed, okay, whatever. But it was like, it kicked ass. And then, this is like in the early eras of the internet, before YouTube, all that shit. Amazon still only has the bookstore online, and Google was just kind of like this new thing that everybody was kind of using because Yahoo was starting to kind of suck. One of those kind of years. And it was like 2004, when things actually started to pick up a little bit. Same thing about that. I was like, I wonder, did these guys ever actually do anything else? Or was this like, a first CD of theirs, or was it like a follow-up album? What's going on? So I type in Cydonia, and all of a sudden it's like popping up like these weird like EDM bands, a whole bunch of other like things named Cydonia, but it was like I couldn't find that Cydonia. I was like, what the hell? Okay, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it was just a weird off thing and they had to fucking drop because of a lawsuit or something like that. I don't know. But then all of a sudden I found something about them, and it said, they had a follow-up album called Dark Flower. What it was, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Again, before YouTube, so I couldn't just go out and look it up and see what it sounded like. Spotify definitely wasn't a thing. So it's like, either had to order it and wait for it to come in, and hopefully it was a good album, or find it in the wild. I never found it. At the time, I was kind of prepping up to get out of high school, saving up for stuff, and and I was kind of just planning for what I wanted to do, which ended up becoming military, going that way. But then I just kind of forgot about it for 15, 17 years now, essentially. And then yesterday I was sitting there, I was like, okay, I want to listen to some Cydonia. Popped up the first album on YouTube, starting to listen to that, and I was like, you know what? I remember they had another album. What was that? Looked it up. Still barely anything on YouTube about it. Nothing really on the internet except for it's like, yeah, they existed. And the only thing you could find was like an eBay listing that was like asking like a shit ton of money, or had already been sold. So I sailed the high seas, not proud of it. Especially if I could actually get a physical copy of these albums, I definitely would. But I found a torrent for it, and I had like one seed. I was like, yeah, this is gonna take forever to download. And it did download onto my phone, and reminisced, listened to the first album. I was like, oh, this is so, yeah, it reminds me of my good years. Then I popped up the next album, and it shocked the hell out of me, because it's just as impressive music wise, but it didn't quite feel the same. And I this next one I have pulled up, I'm not sure if it's, I can't remember if it's the first one or if it's like the third track. But I mean, it like, I'll pop it on so you can see what I'm talking about. to it. I was like, what the fuck happened here? This is awesome. So it's like, just looking at this, it's like, I don't understand why these guys didn't hit bigger. I mean, maybe it's just because they're too obscure. I mean, they're like from Italy and very, very thick Italian accents in their vocals, as you can hear. But it's like, the first one was just straight up power metal. You have to be kind of a power metal nerd to like power metal. I like power metal. Not a huge fan, but I like it. I can appreciate it. The second album was very experimental in comparison. Like there's tracks like that. The very first track is like a gent almost track. It's like, I swear they're playing like fucking A standard tuning or something like that. It was like, holy shit! Like, it fucking thumped hard. But yeah, it's like, it was just such a drastic shift in tone. But it's like, it hit me harder than the first album ever did. And it's the only other album they ever put out. It makes me fucking go crazy. It's like, why did they not get bigger than they actually deserve to get? Because, goddamn, they are fucking good. It's like, just hearing that. This song is Another Age on The Dark Flower. But it's like, they had like time signature changes, like mid-song. They had like very like syncopated, like intricate like sections essentially, and then they were able to toss in like a clean, like closed, somber moment, and then all of a sudden back into like a little bit of a heavier thing, then back into the. It's like, how the fuck did these guys not get huge? I mean, this is back in like 2004, and Dream Theater was still kind of like the obscure, like, music nerd band that not everybody liked because they were too fucking crazy and like having like 100 time changes in a song that would last 30 fucking minutes. It's like, prog metal and prog rock has always been kind of the weird, obscure genre until recent years when music is kind of blown up, and with the popularity of bands like Polyphia and like YouTubers like Stevie T and all of them, they're doing all these weird, crazy, experimental type shit, and people love it and they are adored by it. So it's like, yeah, okay, I can see that it's becoming a big, huge thing now. So I'm wondering if these guys actually came out now, would they have been a bigger hit than they were ever back in the early 2000s? Because back then it was all about like the heavy, hard new metal scene, like Coal Chamber, Korn, Linkin Park. Crazy enough, yeah, I mean, they're new metal. Get over it. Limp Bizkit was actually decent at the time. Machine Head, all the the heavy, like drop B, drop A shit that was just slow, heavy, chugged, and it's very rhythmic. It's like, that's all it was. It was just all about the fucking eyeliner, the black clothes, the heavy down-tuned guitars. Power metal was kind of like the 80s, 90s thing. Like, it's like, yeah, okay, it still exists, but it's not relevant that much anymore. I mean, there were bands that actually did power metal and actually were successful in like other countries. So I mean, I don't know. I am very curious as to what happened to Cydonia though, because I'm almost wanting to do like a video essay on the band, because it's like, they're fucking talented. They are amazing. But they didn't get any recognition. They just kind of fell into obscurity and have lingered there for years. And I think I remember seeing something about the vocalist Dan Keating or whatever his name is. I can't remember if it's the vocalist or the guitarist named Dan Keating. Like, they wanted to do other things, but it's like, why did Cydonia fail? Because it's like, I don't know, maybe it was just too wild and out there. Maybe it was too crazy. Maybe there was, like, since it was a concept album, like the first one being like the face of Mars and intergalactic stuff, and the Dark Flower was more experimental and just kind of all over the place. It's like, maybe it was just like people were like, okay, pick a path, guys. What do you want to do? I don't know. So if any of you guys know anything more about the band, or have actually known if anything else has been done by them, please let me know, because I fucking love these albums. These songs are all fucking great in my eyes, and I want more. So even if you can suggest to me a band that's very similar in tone or style, then let me know, because you know I've started to get really into like the crazy weird shit of music and metal. So you know, the mainstream stuff just kind of sucks now. Gosh, it sounds so fucking cringe when I say that. But honestly, it's like, you know, a lot of the mainstream, you know, the popular stuff, it's not that good. It really isn't. Where if you go, you know, slightly under the radar, find some good shit. So I'm definitely not like the deep underground, like, oh, the band that's from Belarus, you know, they have 6 guitars, 3 bassists, and 4 drummers. They also have 5 vocals all harmonized in A triple minors and have tritone sections. It's like, no, shut the fuck up about that shit. I'm not a music snob. I like good music. I like music that I fucking find appealing. I find this shit appealing. If you don't like it, you know, more power to you. That's all good. I love Cydonia. I want more of Cydonia, or from the guys that were in Cydonia. I want to hear more of what they fucking did, because that's very impressive shit. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm getting ready to pull up into work now. I'm gonna be probably cranking out more Cydonia today between shit, but yeah, it's good shit. So I definitely highly recommend it. Like I said, you can find the full first album on YouTube. Just type in Cydonia first album, and it's like a big red and black thing. And like I said, it's like a planetoid kind of thing with like a little eye glowy star kind of thing. It's weird. When you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's very hard to describe. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you know anything about them, or if you know any other bands that they were in or anything like that. Please let me know. Because I need more. I need more in my life. But anyway, that's going to be it for me right now. I know I haven't really been uploading a lot. Even though I say I'm going to, it's just life has been a little crazy and hectic right now. So, what do you expect? Anyway, take it easy, guys.